Are you listening? Damn.
What a nice day, guys. It seems like ETF decision was positive, but it wasn't. So everything is green, Bitcoin is 5% plus, Ripple surging, EOS, Ethereum, everything is in the very green area. Let's look at all of this closer. You're watching Crypto Hamster channel, guys. Let's go.
Let's go.
The situation actually reminds me of the case when it was around this growth, previous growth. So I'm not quite sure whether we will continue to do like that, like grow to some certain extent and then fall, but it is very actually possible. So for the Bitcoin, we finally broke this level, so we're now traded at the new area, and we are approaching 800 for quite a period of time. So we tested it for a while, though we didn't break it. It's a strong level. And actually, since a lot of time passed from the previous rise, we are approaching to the line of the global resistance trend, and it's not that far. It's actually just only 7,000, so it's a very high chance that we'll bounce off that down, or it may happen even before that. So it will continue, especially will continue that growth. So reasonable volume here. So something should change soon, I believe. In my opinion, still, I don't think that we will go very far from this area, so probably we will go down eventually. The question is how far down, so we will just make a correction and continue to do side trading, or we will make this sort of huge drop to the lower low. I think that if there wouldn't be any huge news, and if altcoins will continue to perform the same way, then it is quite likely that we'll continue to trade it here to make to let altcoins breathe for a while. But again, if this is the second situation, say a repetition of this situation, then it's sort of a bull trap, guys. So be careful with altcoins, especially like, well, you see Ripple is just crushing. I was thinking that around this level it is already too much for the certain condition of the market in general, but Ripple seem to be outperforming, and now it made just like nearly to 80 cents. Now of course it dropped, but I think, in my opinion, there are two options. So either this is the new running cycle of Ripple, and then within like maybe a couple of days or a week we will see a confirmation of that. So we'll have like a huge rally eventually, like to even higher. So actually this was pretty much similar. So we may have like some trading around this area again a little bit longer, and then drop more, so rise more and then trade again. So just maybe a couple of weeks, and then Ripple will be at the top again. So if this is the proper scenario to happen, but actually I'm not convinced. I'm sorry to say that, guys. If you hold Ripple, I would say it's not the time yet. I don't believe that. Maybe, but I mean, Ripple is third capitalization coin. It needs a lot of volume and capital to change its position just a bit. So it's much easier, of course, now when the whole market is low, but to make it 3-4x from now, or even 6x if it will go like to $3 and something dollars, I don't know. It's very hard to believe. If you consider to make a trade here, of course, you need to look at the risk-reward ratio, right? And both trades up and down are not great in that matter. So like it is quite likely that we will go down because of the correction of the high rise, huge rise, and in that case the stop should be quite low, and we may have a continuing the upwards trend because of the previous like history of the price action. So again, the stop should be, if you go short, stop should be very high. So both trades are not great. So if you didn't enter here, I wouldn't consider to make a trade, just to observe and happy for the other people who did it. Well, anyway, this is just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe things will be better for Ripple eventually. And also, actually, if we look at the cryptocurrencies in general, so all of them are green, right? Or most of them are green. And in principle, the market cap actually increased like 10+%, and that's great. But you see that Bitcoin dominance felt quite a lot. So it was like 55% before, 55 plus something. But my internet is slow, sorry. So, but now we see the like significant drop, maybe like 4% or something, and that's quite enough to make a lot of the altcoins rise. And actually, this is a lot of that went to Ripple, I think. So it's not that crazy run up because of the new capital. There is some new capital, but like I would say most of it comes from Bitcoin. So I'm not quite sure that this is should be considered as a new run up or a new bull cycle. Still, people are rather bearish for the Bitcoin for the next few months. So, but anyway, let's look at it a little bit more. So if we'll break this trend line and stay somewhere around 7,500 or something, then we may consider some changes in the global trend. Also, I was going to share with you some ideas about like this trends in crypto in general. So I just noticed that if we look at the Bitcoin price and Bitcoin trading volume for the recent like 9 months when we have this bear market, actually it can be extended to for the even previous time, but still this is interesting to look at the current situation. So every time when the price dropped, we had basically the minimum of the trading volume, except maybe this first drop when it was really sort of not, I wouldn't say the capitulation period, but sort of like not a panic sell, but still people expected this to be at the bottom, and it was a huge volume there where I was looking at it at that moment. So it was not that minimum, but anyway, everywhere every else minimum, like here or here or here, the volume actually also was low, and volume was higher at the peaks. So it means like we sort of have confidence to buy at the peak because we hope that it will go up, but we very easily get disappointed at the bottom. But even the whales don't really able to buy because people still don't sell. So they buy at the top and they don't sell at the top, but they don't buy and they don't sell at the bottom. So a sort of, I would say it's a bear market behavior, especially for the case when people are in a fear of getting even more losses, right? Or the sudden reversal, so they can miss the boat or something. But recently, this was the end of the August. Again, the picture was changed. The bottom of Bitcoin price was with a sort of a maximum for the Bitcoin trading volume, and I wouldn't say it's sort of a sign for the reversal, but still it means that this place was very different from the others, so very different from all the period of time before, excluding that, but I wouldn't really consider that because of this first huge drop after the rise, and it's reasonable to be different. So, but this one, maybe treat it as a reverse. We didn't see actually at the next bottom here, but that is something to be considered, guys. So we'll maybe seeing something like a confirmation of that eventually, but this is the first time, and I would be interesting to look how the situation will evolve. Also, the same thing can be detected, can be observed for NEO. I am some other coins too, but just this is an example. And also, it had the lowest volume at the lower price and the biggest volume at the peaks. And then eventually, when it dropped that much, the price was at the minimum, but the volume increased quite a lot, so it was the peak at the minimum. So does mean that whales finally get enough coins accumulated and now can do something with price to rise. Maybe, but actually, like, if you be very cautious, then you also notice, for example, nearly the same price here didn't lead to the rise of the volume, and here as well it didn't lead to the rise of the volume. So it may be sort of also like a bull trap to make people buy at the very or relatively high level and then make them panic sell again when price go even lower. So interesting, but still we like having those green days. And actually, so we are now in the daily chart, so you remember that we had 4 green days before, and this is it didn't close yet, so but it's very huge green candle, and usually at this place I would consider to see a correction. So maybe we'll be like 6,600 eventually soon, and still if we'll make like a little bit cooler, then it will be a room to grow eventually. But so far, be careful, guys. Well, anyway, you know that everything which I say is my personal opinion, not a financial advice, so make your own decision on your own research, and please consider to subscribe if you like the content and leave a like and a comment. Also my Twitter, please follow. I would like to see you in the next videos from tomorrow, and have a nice trading, guys. Goodbye.